Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe has been briefed by Harmanny Gold in the Free State. Today, he visited the unused mine where 31 suspected illegal miners died after a methane gas explosion. Now, it's understood the mine was abandoned 30 years ago by its owner, Harmanny Gold. The deceased are believed to be Basotho nationals, and retrieving of their bodies has been stayed because of safety concerns. Our reporter Aviwe Mtila has more. Aviwe, you are live to us right now. I hope you can hear me. What do we know right now?
Good evening, good afternoon, William. And while it was suspected that it was 31 illegal miners that were trapped underneath that mine, since that methane explosion, Minister Gwede Mantashe, that's the Mineral Resources Minister, suggests that the number could be more. That's because, of course, of the movement that they've detected that's still happening underground on the shaft itself. And there are fears that while this movement is ongoing and it could be sign of life, there are fears that that very movement could trigger another methane explosion. Of course, this all dates back to the 17th of May when that actual explosion happened, and we understand there were those illegal miners, well, suspected illegal miners, Zama, that are mining around Virginia that were then trapped there. One of them, we understand, was the one that managed to come out and alert then some of the community members, and we believe, well, my colleague Moloto confirmed with the police just last week that 3 bodies were recovered, but of course those 3 bodies were dead. Now there are those suggestions that there could be more miners, more to that number of 31. You do understand the mine itself was acquired by Harmanny Gold back in the 1980s. It wasn't used because of the high levels of methane, in fact, that were detected there. So it was essentially rehabilitated by Harmanny Gold, something that the minister says that the mine itself has actually done quite well, not putting the blame at the mine itself. In fact, let's take a listen to the Mineral Resources Minister, Gwede Mantashe, as he speaks on the possibility of more bodies, whether dead or alive, still being underneath that mine, still trapped, in fact, at the Virginia mine.
In terms of the behavior of methane from surface, there are still movements underground. And our suspicion is that there may be people who are still there. And if there's still people there and methane explodes further, there may be additional deaths. So it's an estimate we're suspecting. We're not giving you a scientific number. We've not gone underground. We hope to ultimately get there. But at this point in time, all we're saying is that movements that are shown by the movements of methane reflect that there may be some movements underground, because that shaft is not an easy shaft where you walk in and out. It's quite a difficult shaft, and that is where our suspicion comes from.
And of course, just listening to the minister, Aviwe, one has to ask, I mean, how will they get the bodies out? And any response from the Lesotho government?
That's the big bone of contention, isn't it, William? How will they retrieve these bodies from this mine? As it's a near impossible task. I actually spoke to even the mine itself, Harmanny Gold, as well as you heard there from the Mineral Resources Minister, that it's really near impossible. One, it was never even mined in the first place, so there is no infrastructure at the bottom of that mine. And secondly, there is, of course, these high levels of methane that actually led to the explosion itself. So it's quite difficult to navigate on how they'll actually go in and, try to retrieve these miners, whether dead or alive. But there are those efforts, of course. We do understand joint efforts and discussions by Harmanny Gold, by the Mineral Resources Ministers, and just other stakeholders. The mayor, of course, around here in Virginia was there as well, trying to also plan how they're going to do this, but it's quite clear that it's going to take some time if they will eventually be able to. But there are suggestions that the mine itself, of course, is located in an area where there are a lot of mines, so they might try to use other underground tunnels to actually gain access to that particular mine if they are successful. You speak of the Lesotho government. They got a tongue lashing from the Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe, and of course there have been those conversations, and the suggestions from the minister is that they won't just be told by the Lesotho counterparts on just leaving the responsibility to the South African side. They need to work in hand, not only when it comes to just getting those bodies out of that mine, but just also curbing the illegality and the criminality behind these amazamas, because it is a huge issue. And a lot of them, of course, these 31 miners believed to be Basotho nationals. So there was a heavy tongue lashing coming from the Mineral Resources Minister, suggesting that the government itself in Lesotho needs to do something about tackling this criminality. In fact, let's take a listen once more to Minister Gwede Mantashe as he speaks on the Lesotho counterparts.
If all those bodies are from Lesotho, it means that there is a responsibility equal to what we have as a responsibility that the Lesotho government has. So it cannot just come to us on the basis of we have bodies underground, please take them out. That can't be the basis. The basis of our engagement with Lesotho government should be there is a problem of a growing number of illegal miners. Many of them come heavily armed. And therefore, both governments must have a cooperation in dealing with that crisis as two governments. Because people move from Lesotho armed, end up here underground with arms. And from time to time, we incur casualties in that process. So that is the discussion we should have with the Lesotho government.
That's our reporter, Aviwe Mtila, live to us this evening. Thank you so much for your time. Still